So this portion of our lecture today is going to be talking about entrepreneurship, like I just stated, minding my Black-owned business, Black Woman Edition. So then we are going to do another series like this in the spring where I bring in some of the gentlemen who are doing their own thing as well. But my whole point of bringing these lovely women in here today is to basically, showcase their experience, to let you know how you can secure your bag in different ways. And I just wanted to show you all different young people that are doing the same thing that you want to do at some point in your life. So that's why I brought them in today. So then we have the wonderful Natasha Anderson and Crystal Paris. So then I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to them. And if you all wouldn't mind showing your beautiful faces so they can know who you are instead of these black screens.
We'll hey, everyone. So good to have us here. I see your lovely faces. We see a few people, cameras are turning on.
Yes.
How y'all doing, beautiful Black people, on this Monday?
Love it.
We're live. We're blessed. Brandon, thank you, UMOJA, for having Crystal and I. Let's just get to know each other a little bit. I'm sure that everyone's been doing or been checking in some of these series. So, I'll tell a little bit of myself and Crystal and just our experience. And, we want to hear from you students as well and check in, right? Tap in. So,
yes.
Natasha Anderson. I am from Brooklyn, New York. I've worked in San Diego, working in the art spaces. So with my business, Natasha Knows Consulting, I work directly with artists, creatives, or entrepreneurs, as I like to call them. And it's all about getting funding to these creatives, whether it's film, visual art, music. I love to get them promoted and having their own exhibits, their shows, getting their artwork sold, but most importantly about cashing in on their cultural currency, because we know that they love the music, they love the culture, they love everything about the Black experience, but when it comes time to supporting the Black arts and the artists, that's when we get crickets often, right? Or we left out of those huge conversations. So I'm all about pushing the envelope on that and getting funding to our artists. And speaking of artists, I have Crystal Paris with me. Crystal, let them know who you are.
So I'm Crystal Paris. I am an artist, visual artist, and designer. I specialize in wearable art. Me and Natasha has been working for some time in LA. And she's really given me opened up a lot of opportunities and doors for me as a entrepreneur and as an artist. I'm also have my own business called Crystal Paris Designs, and we specialize in making one-of-a-kind artistry pieces that are made to inspire and empower women. So each design is more so geared to, its craftsmanship and its uniqueness, but on the flip side of it, it has either an historical content to it or it has an empowering message behind it. So I'm excited to be here amongst you guys. I'm really here to shed the light on what it is and how it kind of translates as an artist and being a woman, and how I have made a career out of that and made money out of that and met a lot of amazing people from, just taking that leap of faith and having, people behind you like Natasha who supports the arts and want to see, us push forward. So like we said, we're super excited to hear from you all, as well as we would like it to be just, something for us to just sit up here and talk the whole entire time. We would love to get your feedback and hear from you guys. If you guys have like any questions and concerns, or just, want to mention what you do, and we would love to hear it.
Yeah, so, Brandon, I wasn't really sure exactly on the format. Do you want us to start with just kind of some of our collective work, or do you have questions that you'd like us to answer? Or are we just flowing with it?
We're just kind of flowing with it. Let's see, do you all happen to have any questions so far regarding anything they mentioned? Nope. So then we can go ahead and go forward with the rest, and then we do have some written questions and stuff too.
Okay.
And thank you, Brandon, by the way, for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
We're
all
no problem.
we're all in the house or trying to, go to school, do our businesses, tend to our family, preserve our mental health, like all the things, shake off some of the COVID calories. So it's a lot going on right now. So we also value each and every person that's on this call right now, just for tapping in. So
Yeah. And then before we go, this is what I want to mention too, before I forget. So the reason why I wanted to have this dialogue or to have have people come in and talk to you about entrepreneurship, because if you haven't noticed, of course, with COVID, it's really impacted people on multitude of levels. Okay. And that is why it's very important to have different streams of income and to kind of be marketable in different ways. So then that is why I wanted to bring them into this conversation, because now that you all are in school, you all are having a very different experience than what we all had went through when we went to school. So every generation, when it comes to going to school, there's different things that impact us, right? So then for this generation, for you all, this is COVID. So it's important to try to do the best you can to be like, okay, so this is what I want to do, but it's also important to understand what are some other things that you can do for yourself as well. Because during COVID, there's people who have really been impacted, and there's some people that have not been impacted at all. Mm-hmm. So this is why it's important to entertain entrepreneurship in addition to what your passion and purpose is. And that's all I wanted to say before they move forward.
That's valid. Exactly what Brandon said. I mean, not to age myself in this room, but, wasn't too long ago that I too was, doing my undergrad and, figuring out what I want to be when I grow up. And so there was always this notion that you go to school, you get your education, right? Get the degree, no one could tell you nothing, right? And I did all of those things, and my background was marketing, PR always, journalism more so. And the industry that I was looking to go into, it was evolving, it was changing as everything else does, and was going more digital. And for me, it was like, what are some other ways can I expand? Because now to be a journalist, you didn't have to just go to journalism school. Like, you could literally start getting your blogs popping. You can start doing op-ed pieces in major magazines and newspapers, even if you're not a writer, And so that evolved into looking more at marketing, PR. The passion has always been in the arts, even though I'm not a painter or designer, but that is still curating experiences by bringing the people who want to make their artwork be their career. And so spending a lot of time, corporate, retail, I've done it all, the 9-to-5s, the side hustles, all in trying to make entrepreneurship make sense. And so even now in my current state, I do have a 9-to-5 and I work a business, but have also built my own consulting company. And so, just one of the things is from being a student, looking at where you can take your education and how that could grow into what entrepreneurship could look like for you. It's not a one size fits all. You can have someone like me who my consulting business is fairly new. She's a baby, even though I've been in the industry over a decade, and then you have someone like Crystal who answered her calling pretty early, and her work shows that. You can tell them a little bit about, what your journey has looked like too.
Yeah, completely. So I actually come from a smaller town out of Georgia, and the typical thing: go to college, get a 9-to-5 job was what I was told, and I just couldn't see my life being that way. I had my first child at 19 years old, and it was tough being a young mom and then just trying to figure it out, and just got tired of going from job to job, and eventually in 2012 started my own business. And I was just always fashionable in school and when I grew up, but that wasn't like a career path that I looked at, especially coming from a small town, being an artist or a designer. That's kind of like shunned down upon. So I took a leap of faith. A friend of mine came to me and she said, you know what, you are super fashionable, like you should get into fashion. And that's what I did. So I started making my first pair of short collections, and I ended up using $6,000 that I had got from my income tax check and started my business at 22 years old. And from there, I've been doing it ever since. And I've been working for in the industry now for about 8 years, and it's allowed me to meet people like Natasha, who's opened up different segments, such as San Diego, for example, that's kind of like spread my name in that area. But I've also worked with, high A-list celebrities. As far as my first internship, I worked with Kanye West. His Yeezy collection that actually showcased in Paris. I've worked with Beyonce's mom, Miss Tina Knowles, for the past 2 years for her wearable art gala. So I do all of their wearable art installations. I have styled several A-list celebrities as well. I've collaborated with Facebook just recently. Me and Natasha collaborated with Facebook with the Global Business Summit, where I got to go on stage and talk to 1,200 of their VPs about a new program called Elevate, which helps Black businesses navigate Instagram and Facebook for promotions and sales. And I say that to say that just because where you come from and your background and your environment doesn't deter you or says like who you can and cannot be. So I think it's really important as a creative that you can be successful. You can make money off of being an artist, being a designer, and it's fulfilling. Like, not only am I creating work that is, I can be around these people that I never imagined being around, coming from a small town like Kanye West or Beyonce, Calvin Klein. I mean, I've met a row of people that really like.
And this is the nature of the business. We're always working. We literally have an entire bridal shoot with a magazine going on the inside. So bear with us.
I'm sorry. Yes. And so now, yeah, currently, what was I saying?
It's just been doing it all. The thing, too, to add, though, is when you're talking about education and background, where did you go to school?
Oh, well, yes. So I need to go.
That's the part.
So, yes. So as if, college was also something that, again, go to college, get a 9 to 5. And that, too, came back into my career options once I, started up my business. But I also realized, like, at this point, either I'm going to go to college and get the knowledge that I need, or I'm going to learn as I go, which that's continued to, like, push me further back from getting to where I obviously want to be. College brought me more opportunities, and I went to Savannah College of Art and Design here in Atlanta, so SCAD, and it just opened me up to so many opportunities, and it opened me up to how to handle the industry and the work ethic and quality that I needed to have to be a part of the industry. And so college really, kind of gave me the foundation I needed, and I feel like that I was missing from an entrepreneurial standpoint. Whereas, obviously, I don't need to go to college, but I did go to college, and it just opened me up to so many more opportunities. The knowledge that I gained from it, the people that I met in that space, really, shaped who I am today.
Yeah, well, when we talk about entrepreneurship, I think sometimes the misconception as well is because we see the microwave version of entrepreneurship on social media. So on Instagram, it's like, okay, never sleep. Oh, look, we got the visuals going. All right, Brandon.
Yes. So this piece I actually made for the Wearable Art Gala last year with Disney Lion King, Beyonce's mom. Her inspiration this year last year was from that. So that was a fun piece. And this one was entitled New Africa. I wanted to create a piece that expressed us as a people, but also wanted it to be fulfilling, where this actual continent is actually flipped. So it's actually supposed to be the other way if it was Africa. But I flipped it because I wanted this idea of a new Africa and us coming together and understanding our culture and where we come from, and heavily influenced from the Kiku tribe, which is a huge tribe in Kenya, which King is actually filmed. Uh, and so this piece again was inspired by that, and obviously I wanted it to be avant-garde and huge. So this dress took about over 80 hours of work, hand detail work. This dress took about 2 months to make.
Yeah. I mean, talking about the concept of time, like that was just kind of aligning with what we're saying with entrepreneurship, like trusting what your process is and your timing. Just because you see it formatted a certain way and social media will make you have this perception like it's super easy, or if you are experiencing challenges, then you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Or just quit everything else around you and only focus on that. It's not a one size fits all. Like I said, people are single parents, some people have 9 to 5, some people are in school and still starting businesses. And so if any of those things seems to be the shoes that you guys are wearing, some things that, I can even think to mind is always be present, because you never know who's around you and who's in a room. You could be an incoming freshman in your program and just be out and about, and there could be a possible investor just sitting right there having coffee nearby you. It's happened all the time, for both of us, where being in the right room at the right time can be very pivotal, but that's in alignment with you doing the work. So if you're in school and you're pursuing your degree, just make sure to see how that education can support and feed what your business will look like. If you have side hustles, you're doing DoorDash or any of those things, how can you put aside those funds to make your business become a reality? And it doesn't have to be that one thing always happens after another.
Right.
So just be present, be mindful of the spaces you're in. We got more of Crystal's beautiful artwork. Tell them about this one.
I love that, but yes, being more present. This piece was entitled Circle of Life. Again, this was a piece that I did for the gala last year, and it was inspired by the Kiku tribe, which are heavily into face masks, and this is a wooden face mask that was hand beaded. That also took about 2 months to create. The ruffles are all hand made and cut and sewn by hand. They are kind of shifting in different, like I cut it unevenly for a reason. And the reason is because this dress is to emulate us as humans and how we are all uniquely different, but we all come from the same source, which is the circle of life, one love, and how the unity is, us coming together, different colors, different creeds, different genders, no matter what, our backgrounds, we're all one. And I wanted this dress to definitely have that message of empowerment towards, us as a people. I think we get separated because of classism, because a person has this much money or this, or they have that, and then we see ourselves different from others. But I really wanted this message to scream out very loudly, especially within the industry, that we're one. And as I continue to create my artwork, I want that message to always emulate moving forward in a lot of work, that we are all one and we are all connected. And obviously, building the business, I'm able to kind of send out that message through my business and have the support of Natasha, coming along and really, getting the message too, because this is also a very new art form that's coming into the art space. When you think of fashion, it's coming into art, but it's not really. So I think as we continue to, build and expand on my brand as well, it's about being knowledgeable too of the industry that you're entering to, in which, of course, education is one point and one aspect of it, but getting educated about what you guys really want, and being very knowledgeable about it is also a key component, to be able to express to your audience, and whatever that customer or that would come, for you, what that customer is and what their values are. And so for me, when I created my business, it was more so looking for, those who are into fashion and art, and who are those art lovers, and who are those who are into fashion. And I think when starting a business, having that great idea is key, but also being super knowledgeable about who that customer is and who you want to obviously, support your brand. And that's also very, very important.
Yeah, like I'm looking at all these beautiful faces, and you know, regardless of how close or connected you guys might think you are, um, broaden your network. You know what I mean? The person that's next to you on this screen could very well be somebody that you do a business with, or have, you know what I'm saying, a collaborative experience with. We look to so many celebrities, for example, and they're like, oh, they look really close knit in Hollywood. And then when you start doing the research, you find out they went to the same school, they did the same program, they were in the same organization. And so sometimes, like, when we think of like mentorship and elevating, our career, starting from our college and our school experience to, going into a career field, sometimes we always think that it's looking at people that are higher up, I guess you could say, but that peer-to-peer mentorship is major as well. You know what I mean? Between Crystal and I, like, I have my own set of experience with my work. She has her own set of experience with work. And then collaboratively, things fit because we are able to bring those different pieces of the puzzle together. But we didn't connect through, oh, I'm looking for an artist. Are you an artist? We connected through working with a nonprofit organization that had nothing to do with either of our businesses, really and truly. And so that's what I'm saying, is like having that awareness and that presence, being present, is so important, because you never know who's in your room, who's in your class. Brandon Williams, for one, like, maybe there's some bias here, but I didn't have the opportunity that you guys have in having leadership, Black leadership at that, do something like this. We didn't have those kind of conversations often. I didn't go to HBCU, and even that not being an excuse, my school was just, that was not a priority. You know what I mean? Setting Black students up for Black success was never a priority. So you guys really have something genuine and real right now, and especially during this pandemic, like, you know what I mean, where things are not what we all thought they would be or what we planned them to be. So everyone's trying to make the best of it. And I think it's very powerful as well to learn from students and learn from you, we being students, because we're always tapping and tuning into, well, what is it that they want? What is it? How can we help? How can we collaborate with them? They are creative too. They have ideas, like, how can we get things moving forward? So I just think that it's amazing that you guys are able to, put your education first and put it in perspective of how you want to build what your legacy will be through your work. And I think it's empowering that you're part of a program like UMOJA, where you are supported in that. You are supported in your Blackness. You are supported in your creativity, everything, your activism. So we're over here like, okay, this is good work. Yeah. So any of y'all have any questions? Like, we don't want to do all the talking. We're cousins, so let us know. Y'all have any questions? I see some chats. going, but let me check.
And
Miss Jackson had a question.
Go, Miss Jackson.
Okay, so my sister and I are both kind of trying to start our own businesses, and I just had a few questions. One would be, how do you go about like taking your idea and then getting the rights to everything so that like, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
right. So
And then, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. And the other question.
Was just gonna be, how do you determine the prices for your products?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that's a good one.
Yeah. So first, gaining your rights. First, you want to either your business, you want to set it up either as a sole proprietorship, is one way, or an LLC. I set my business up as an LLC, which is a limited liability company. So everything is funneled directly through my business. So if anything happens law-wise, like if there's a lawsuit, it doesn't affect me directly as the person who has created the business. It funnels throughout my business. So you keep yourself protected with an LLC. The other aspect of it is, of course, you want to get your trademark, which is definitely a valuable thing that you want to set up when you first start your business. But prior, if that is, of course, all of this is costing money, but if you have a lower budget, I would say start off by getting your domain name, which is your website, right? So that's going to secure your name or your business in a very vital way. So you can go through register.com, or GoDaddy is another one where you can get your website started and put the name in just to see if anyone else has your name. And if no one else has your name, I would say secure it. And it's about, I don't know, maybe $10 a year, maybe even less than that, to have your domain name. So once you secure your domain name, I would say then go to getting everything trademarked. That way no one has that name, and you're able to create like website and do all of that. Then once that is, the pricing is normally with pricing, you want to obviously calculate what it costs for your materials, or I'm not sure what kind of business are you looking to start?
So my sister, she like designs stuff, like she can make shirts and like all that stuff, and then she's done like wine glasses. Like she's very like broad in what she wants to do.
Okay.
And then for me, I kind of want to do like cookies or like anywhere along desserts.
Got it. I love that. So you want to see how much your material is going to cost. So calculating what it costs for you as far as like your cooking. So like your cookie cutters, your cookies, all of the material that is going to obviously help you create this cookie. And then you want to put a price on how much you're worth, right? So how much are you worth an hour? And how much do you want to get paid an hour? And so for me, when I first started out, my price was fairly high, but it was $25 an hour. So I calculated that times, what it cost for me and my materials. And then normally you want to maybe times 2 because you want to gain a profit. So you want to multiply it times 2. So whatever that number you get from your materials plus your hourly costs, then you want to times that times 2, and then that's what you want to charge your client. We say no more than 2 is the starting, right? So obviously you could times 3, times 4, just depending on what it is. But obviously you want to, gain more than what you put in. And that's I guess that would be my advice to you.
Yeah, I would say, because after you've heard that laundry list, and if you feel intimidated, I would say tap in to other like-minded people or what your local city, so San Diego, for example, has for small business startups and things like that. For example, a lot of cities have offer some type of small business free legal counsel where you can check in with that organization to know what different tax filings you need, contracts, what can keep your business active. Like Brandon put in the chat, fictitious business name. I was out here, operating my business. I'm paying my taxes. I'm doing all of this. And now it's time to open a business banking account. And they want a fictitious business name statement because I am Natasha Anderson, but my business is Natasha Knows. And so it's knowing like little differences of things like that. It can be a little overwhelming of where to start and where to go. So I would say tap into some resources, see what your local city or your county offers for small businesses. A lot of them have programs specifically for minorities, for Black people, for women, LGBTQIA people, you name it, veterans. So all the check boxes that apply to you, there's a lane for you and you can get that support. It helps having fellow entrepreneur friends. Even if you guys sell two different products, they do lashes and you want to do a cupcake pop-up, you know what I mean, stand. It doesn't matter. They could possibly walk you through some of the things they encountered, they experienced as well. So I would say connect with organizations locally, other entrepreneurs that you know. Look at your checklist. Like Crystal said, your time is valuable. And so when you're looking at pricing product, whether it's an actual tangible good or it's a service you're designing, you're selling a concept, all of that is worth something. Never base your price off of what you think you don't know. I know that's weird to say, but some people will say, oh, well, I'm not such and such, so I can't charge that much. Don't do that. Only you can gauge your level of expertise, your value. And sometimes that can be a humbling experience to tell you need to learn some more. If I'm a designer, but I don't know how to sew or hand stitch, there's some things maybe I need to work on skill set wise to really improve my product. And then the price points can match that too. Look at your competition. See what other competitors in your lane are doing. And if you're something completely new or unique and you don't really have anything else that's similar, that's all the more reason why you can tie into like marketing, what makes you so different and unique. And you start from there and you get feedback, from your customers. Like, I really love this product. I wish that it was a little bit less, because you don't get that much quantity wise. So feedback's important also in helping determine like what that looks like.
Yep. And I think I just wanted to say, because then this is pretty much the time, so then I'll wrap up. But if you all wanted to stay just for a couple of minutes to ask some more questions, you can do that. But before we go, I just wanted to basically kind of conceptualize what we've been talking about today. The biggest thing is just starting. I think that sometimes we get caught up in our head and basically becoming too caught up in our head that we don't actually take action. So then all of these different things in terms of pricing and all these different things, they come over time. And not even just pricing, but everything that you can think of for a business. Because I'm pretty sure when Crystal started out, like she said, she did $25 for a service. And as you can see, her work is amazing. So it just takes time to get to a point where you feel comfortable, because entrepreneurship is also a part of a self-discovery journey in regards to understanding who you are, understanding your purpose, and then understanding your worth. Because then I can be transparent, and I do photography. So when I started off, I did $25 too. Yeah. I did $50, I did here and there. So then over time, I got comfortable with who I am and what I offer. And I've been doing photography for 10 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that just kind of goes to show you that not everything that you want to start off happens right then and there. Yeah. So don't get caught up in that. So then that's also a part of it.
I want to add to that with what Brandon said, invest in yourself, because I know this man when he was starting out with his photography business and to where he is now, where he's like being contracted to do major shoots, and the as he elevated in his craft and his work and the value presents itself, the price points change, but also he starts investing in his business. He gets better camera, better equipment, better software to work with. We've all been at some point where we've started like doing the best we can, getting the free subscriptions to Canva, whatever it is, to kind of like create our things. But as you start really building a business and your name for yourself, you have to invest in yourself. You got to funnel that money back in, so that way you can have a better product, you can have better supplies and resources to use, but your customers win at the end of the day. They get a better product as well.
And then Anais had a question, but if you have to go, feel free to go. But go ahead, Anais, and ask your question.
Oh, wow, Brandon, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. Okay, anyways, so I'm gonna try to make this short. Basically, for me, I've had a lot of, I guess, career options. So like, I started off trying to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be a movie star, an actor. I mean, an actress, a public speaker, all of the above. But recently, I have fell in love with photography and with being a lawyer. Now, I've taken both classes in high school. I love both parts, both aspects of each career. My only thing is, according to like society in a way, being a photographer it doesn't come with stable income. That makes sense. And so right, but see, that's why people are be telling me, oh, and then I don't know, because it's not. Anyways, so my parents, they support me in whatever I do, and but I guess some of my family is like, they're more supportive of being a lawyer. And then they're like, oh, okay, and well, you can be a lawyer and then do photography on the side. And I'm like, I'm not gonna want to do that. Like, that's like being a lawyer is a full-time job. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I can have time trying to defend somebody and then take pictures of like somebody that weekend. Right. So I'm just trying to be realistic. I love photography. I've taken pictures of like my friends and family for free, and they'll post them, and they'll like get lots and lots of like feedback. And people have been telling me, and hey, you should start to make your own like Instagram account and start posting your stuff. And I mean, I'm still thinking about it. I'm gonna do that. But my question is, how did you guys make up in your mind that that's what the career that you want to do, despite what everybody else was saying, if that makes sense? So yeah, that's my question.
That's what I was putting that X up, not for Wakanda Forever, but I was like, wrong when you were talking about how, the family's telling you, don't do this, don't do that. I come from immigrant parents, okay? So the American dream of why they came here in the first place was you going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or even nurse, right? And I didn't want to be any of those things, right? I'm like, I want to write. I want to be a journalist. I want to work with artists, right? And so that conversation about there's no money to be had in doing X, Y, Z, or you can't really do X, Y, Z. I think haven't our generation, millennials, Z, wherever you fit in, I feel like they've shown us that we can definitely do our own thing. You know what I mean? Time and time again, there's no difference between Lena Waithe, and somebody that's studying film in school right now, right? What gets you there is saying yes to your calling, and what that will look like for you. You have to really be centered and grounded in who you are. And sometimes that takes time. Sometimes it takes you working a lot of odds and ends and trying to fit a square in a circle before you finally get done stubbing your toe to say, I want it. At that point, you become so uncomfortable doing anything but that you make it make sense. So that's my personal thing is listen to your heart. I know that sounds very hippie, cliche, but it's true because at the end of the day, if you're always doing it for the financial gain, if you're doing it because it's expected of you, society expects it, you can work your way up, work your way to early death, whatever, stress yourself out, and you can always still be unhappy. You can be loaded with money doing those things and still be unhappy. So I say tap into what it is that feeds you, fuels you, what allows you to be of service to other people is huge too. How are you leaving a legacy and creating impact? And whatever that thing is, either attorney or photography, you can make that. And sometimes you can make it both balance for a while, but there will always come a point where you will have to make a choice. So
and I just wanted to. Did you want to say something, Crystal?
No, Natasha.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Anais and everyone, I do both. You can definitely do both. In terms of just, here's an example. So for my purpose and what I want to accomplish in this lifetime is to be of service to people. I like helping people. So then for me, photography does help people in a way, of course, too, because my photography is at a affordable rate in comparison to other people. And my biggest bread and butter is graduation portraits. So if you were to look at my profile, you'll see that I have a lot of graduation portraits. And then when some people transition to different stages of their life, like when the women become mothers, I do maternity shots for them. When the mothers want to do engagement shots, I do engagement shots for them. But and I'm also a counselor. And I think for me, at least, I'm able to still live in my purpose and being able to do what I love to do. And I love to do both. So you can definitely do it, Anais and everyone.
Yes.
But I think the step one is just living in your purpose